I'm here with Dale Strydom, the Business Development Director for Middle East and Africa at KaiOS. So thank you for joining us.
Good to be here.
Maybe to start with, just maybe you could tell us a little bit about KaiOS and what you do.
Yeah, so it's a very exciting time for KaiOS, and pretty much what we do is that we've developed an operating system for the emerging markets. Basically, getting the good apps of WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube, access to internet, and obviously access to digital content, and obviously the ability to make and receive payments to the mass markets, as well as the informal economy. KaiOS was started in 2016, and as of today, we've already activated and connected 180 million people to the internet. And if we break that down, we got 145 million in India, 25 million in the US, and as of today, about 3.8 million active lines in Africa. So pretty much we know today is the cost of a smartphone. Obviously, the improvement of the operating system, the likes of Android, etc., is getting more and more expensive. And as of today, we know that 3.5 billion people aren't connected to the internet. And just to, if we talk about some numbers, and the numbers that we're chasing and what we're trying to change is there's about 1.4 billion people that can afford more than $20 on a device. So what we effectively are doing is that we're getting the internet to meet that market and to supply connectivity and digitization to that market at an affordable rate. There's two specific verticals that KaiOS works on. It's a device financing affordability, as well as a merchant and digitizing the merchant, effectively making the merchant to accept digital payments through an open and closed loop system. Today, we basically offer a locking mechanism within the operating system. This allows the fintechs to use the device as collateral and to obviously offer finance to the informal economy, from a merchant point of view, as well as a consumer that is a normal 2G customer. So today, if the user doesn't make payments, basically the fintech enables a progressive lock, and that lock allows, basically uses the device as collateral, and obviously de-risks the risk of default a lot higher. Basically, the lock encourages the user to make payments, but what we've seen from the market, if you lock the device, generally they're not able to communicate and they get really frustrated. So the progressive lock really allows the consumer to still be connected and find time for money so they can make their repayments.
So if I was a target customer in one of the markets, why would I buy your phone rather than either a basic phone or a smartphone? What would drive me to do that?
So I love that question. And it's a very relevant question because there needs to be some value add that the customer would want. And within this value add, obviously KaiOS is bringing battery for days. We call it battery for days. The reason why is because basically the battery lasts just longer because obviously the content and the screen size just allows the battery to perform better. The reason why that is important is, especially in Africa and the rural areas, they have to walk 5 to 6 kilometers to a power point, so they can go and recharge the device. Then they can come back and only have to redo that, 4 to 5 days later, depending on the usage. Another reason that's a very valuable advantage is the risk factor. Today, as a smart feature phone, there's less risk on a smart feature phone than there is that you see on a smartphone. So obviously, users get more comfortable to use it in taxis or transportation use cases. Also, availability today of the content. So again, as I mentioned before, is they have access to free content. So we've partnered with the likes of Worldreader. Worldreader basically allows for 3,000 educational books, from social media, education to social studies, all free on a KaiOS device. As well as the agricultural side, because today, if an agricultural farmer, individual farmer, doesn't have access to connectivity, and basically number one, they cannot sell their produce, they have to rely on a normal agent that will come past and identify what their local produce is. Today, KaiOS enables that user to connect with the agent to collect and barter for obviously a better price points for them versus what they would generally do today. Another really important point is the affordability factor. Today, we know that the delta between feature phone and smartphone is roughly $25 to $30. And today, KaiOS fits quite nicely in between there. and within the, so roughly about reducing the delta to between $5 and $10. And also with device financing puts it at the same price as Smart Feature. So the affordability is very, very, very important.
I know KaiOS has recently launched a proposition for micro entrepreneurs. I was wondering if you could tell me a bit about that and also what kind of traction you had.
We understand that in Africa alone, there's 100 million merchants. And today, they all use cash. And cash, we know today, is a risk for them. And we went on this journey because digitizing the merchant has so many value propositions. One being purely by doing a digital acceptance payment acceptance. In Africa, we understand that it increases the revenue of the merchant by 26% per line item, and that is so huge for them. So that effectively what that means is that they're able to bring in more money, they're able to do more education, they're able to, maybe if they have one shop, maybe in a year they can open up another shop. And this is all what we're seeing, that we can digitize the merchants. But I want to dig deeper into the merchant. And by doing that is we're able to identify what it does. So KaiOS has developed a full MPOS device, a very low cost MPOS device. What that effectively means is that it's affordable. It allows for contactless payment, so an open loop payment. What that means, open loop, is the likes of a bank card. Also, which in Africa, particularly in Nigeria and South Africa, are more adopted to tap to pay. But the rest of the market, we've also included a QR scan to pay, as well as link to pay and bank transfer. And today that is available on our KaiOS enabled MPOS device. So what we've done is we've also made it a little bit rugged. We've put a 3,000 milliamp battery in. So in other words, again, a merchant that's in a rural area can have their access to digital payment for an extended period of time. But not only that, it gets even better. So it's not just the payment acceptance. What we've done is another two verticals, one being if a merchant has to order stock, we've embedded the WhatsApp chatbots. So in other words, they can order via WhatsApp on their stock, and then they can get the delivery of that stock. The second one is an advertising platform on Facebook. If we summarize all this, what it effectively means is merchant today can get an affordable POS machine. We know that the most affordable now is $80 to $100. Now we're looking at one that can go on device financing. So you could get it for free. You could get it at $8. You can get it at $10. But effectively, what it means is that they get the device at a very low cost. They're able to order stock digitally. They're able to accept cash. Accept cash and accept a digital payment that's in the bank, so less risk for them. But today, ultimately, we're enabling the merchants to accept the digital payments and obviously through multiple mechanisms that's available in Africa today.
So KaiOS offers users a set of cards in your Life app. I was just wondering how that is helping to drive improved digital skills.
Yes, another very, very important part is the literacy and the understanding of how a device can support a user. So education is another important part. So within the KaiOS dashboard, what we have is a card system. In other words, for someone who's never been exposed to WhatsApp, for example, it sits on the dashboard where they can select the WhatsApp logo. It comes up and it basically describes exactly what WhatsApp is and what it does, and how to use it. Where today you would generally rely on the salesperson to do that, but in very remote locations, you need to have another enabler to teach the user on how to use it. Because today, if you don't have the enabler, you're not going to drive the content. You're not going to drive the data and the usage. Basically, it's just going to be another voice and text phone, and that's not what we do. Another example is how to use internet. So what is internet? It comes up a little card on the desktop, and it basically goes through how to use the internet. What is it used for? Where can you access? And another cool thing that it does is once you're done reading, it brings up all the apps that are internet enabled or chat enabled or educational enabled, whatever card that they have selected of interest to them. So the bottom line of this, it's an educational tool where there is no human interaction that is definitely needed for the informal economy.